Mr. President. First say that this statement supports as well the Q1 statement made on behalf of G77 and also the statement made by Guatemala on behalf of ILAC. We are here to evaluate, based on the global stock take, what is our trajectory to achieve the goals of the Paris Agreement. There is science-based evidence enough to say that our trajectories are not going right now to stabilize the climate to 1.5 Celsius. 1.5 Celsius is not a goal. It is an environmental limit and is already a disaster. It will change the conditions in which we live forever. The UN Environment Programme, in its production gap report, has clearly stated, as well as the IPCC 6 report, that the burning of fossil fuels is responsible for 86% of emissions. Thus, the answer that as a multilateral system we need to give our citizens, and especially the most vulnerable ones, is to reduce the burning, production, extraction of fossil fuels. If we want to be serious about stating that we will stabilize the climate at 1.5 Celsius. However, although under the Paris Agreement and these COPs, we have set targets to reduce emissions, when we see the top 20 producers of fossil fuels, their plans are to double the production. This will take us in 2030 to an increase of 460% of coal extraction, 29% of oil, 82% of gas, compared to what we will need to be consistent with the 1.5. In this situation, adaptation will not be possible. We will overpass the carbon budget, and we will be moving to a world of loss and damage. Adaptation is possible at a limit of 1.5. Beyond that, we will be counting loss and damage. Thus, based on this global stocktake, which is our duty to evaluate and take seriously, based on science reports and the UN system that we all finance are part of, Colombia respectfully wants to invite the parties to commit to the phasing out of fossil fuels and to commit to the 2030 goal of reduction of emissions. Unabated fossil fuels could be something we can talk about after 2030. But if we don't achieve the 2030 window, we cannot say to the generations that were already born in this century that the climate will be stabilized at 1.5 Celsius. The adaptation goals should be released at this COP. We want to invite that we agree on universal right to early warning systems for all the global population. This could not be only finance to the most vulnerable countries. This is now, with the situation that we have, a right for all. Unworryingly, countries like Colombia, which is the 5th largest exporter of coal, which our economy depends on the export of oil and coal, and who want to make this economic transition, because this is not about only an energy matrix transition. It's an economic transition that will require clear economic rules, are finding ourselves to be punished by the financial system and the economic system. Rather than having incentives to move forward with this political will, our access to capital is becoming more expensive. Our decision to stop exploration has created nervousness in the market. We are threatened to downgrade our qualification in the global credit system, and we are strangled with debt. We want in the finance track to see again the call from the scope to align the financial and economic system and the markets to the reality of the climate crisis. Ambition cannot be punished. Finally, Mr. President, we want to call to speak clearly together in solidarity on the elephant in the room, which is the difficulty to make this economic transition and leave fossil fuels. It is an unprecedented change, and we need the right economic conditions, and we think that multilaterally we could agree on that. In terms of process, we would like all of us to be included in all conversations, that there will not be closed rooms, that if a party wants to go to a discussion, it has access, so that we can build together the best outcome for the scope for current and future generations.